Hello, everybody. It is Monday, 9:33 in the morning. I am tired. It is June 26th, 2020, which means that last night, the Bayonne High School seniors graduated from Bayonne High School. And those seniors that were in room school in 2015 2016, 2015, 2016. Those were my first kids and my first group that I ever taught. And so we've officially hit a point where the first kids that I've taught have graduated high school and are now out in the world. And that makes me feel really old because that's just how that works. Because of that, I spent most of last night either recording poems on my other channel or playing Final Fantasy VII because that makes me feel less old. I don't know why. Now, congratulations, by the way, to everyone that graduated. Lincoln Community School and all other schools, if you're listening to this and you're from another school, I don't know where you are. Welcome, by the way, to Poetry Fridays Summer School Edition. I'll be doing this still every Friday for the foreseeable future. I might not be doing this from my home for every time. I might be out, but I'm going to do this for the foreseeable future. I'm going to do some poems to set you up for next year today. These poems are in reference to many things, but they deal with the themes from the book Of Mice and Men. Because my 8th graders in the fall of the fall period, start off with Of Mice and Men. Right, Patrick? Patrick agrees. Now, I'm going to start off with Go Catch a Falling Star, which is by John Donne. John Donne. One of those is correct. I'm trying my best. He's not great to me. You'll see why. Go and catch a falling star. Get with, child, a mandrake root. Tell me where all past years are, or who cleft the devil's foot. Teach me to hear mermaids singing, or to keep off envy's stinging, and find what wind serves to advance an honest mind. If thou beest born to strange sights, things invisible to see, ride 10,000 days and nights, till age snow white hairs on thee. Thou, when thou return'st, wilt tell me all strange wonders that befell thee, and swear nowhere lives a woman true and fair. If thou findest one, let me know. Such a pilgrimage were sweet, yet I would not go. Though at next door we might meet, though she were true when you met her, and last till you write your letter, yet she will be false ere I come to 2 or 3. He's essentially trying to say that all women are liars, which is liars, deceivers, and other various things, which is not the best message. It's not the best message here. But it's also one of the possible messages of the book Of Mice and Men. Because the main character, who is a woman and is brought up, doesn't have a name at all. And she also is a terrible person. But she's kind of a terrible person in the way that, like, people become terrible people when they're treated terribly. That kind of tends to happen. So, with all of that, we'll go into Steinbeck in the fall. If I have to do it on here, so that way some other people get the knowledge that I've got, I'll do that, maybe. But we'll go into Steinbeck in the fall. And there's a lot there about how and why Steinbeck does the things he does. Now the second one, I'm gonna butcher this title. It's a poem by a man named William Cullen Bryant. He wrote this when he was 17 years old, and it is about the idea of the title means the view of death. It uses the Greek name of the god of death, Thanatos, in the in the title, Thanatopsis. Thanatopsis. Oh, Thanatopsis. Thanatopsis. So let's start this, shall we? To him who, in the love of nature, holds communion with her and with her visible forms, she speaks a language, a various language. For his day or hours she has a voice of gladness, and a smile and eloquence of beauty, and she glides into his darker musings with a mild and healing sympathy that steals away their sharpness ere he is aware. When thoughts of the last bitter hour come like a blight over thy spirit, and sad images of the stern agony and shroud and pall and breathless darkness and the narrow house make thee to shudder and grow sick at heart, go forth under the open sky and list the nature's teachings, while from all around earth and her waters and the depths of air comes a still voice. Yet a few days, and thee the all-beholding sun shall see no more in his course, nor yet in the cold ground, where thy pale form was laid with many tears. Nor in the embrace of ocean small exists thy image. Earth, that nourished thee, shall claim thy growth to be resolved to earth again, and lost each human trace, surrendered up thine individual being, shalt thou go to mix forever with the elements, to be a brother to the insensible rock, and to the sluggish clod, which the rude swain turns with his share, and threads upon. The oak shall send his roots abroad, and pierce thy mould, yet not to thine eternal resting place shalt thou retire alone, nor couldst thou wish couch more magnificent. Thou shalt lie down with the patriarchs of the infant world, with kings, the powerful of the earth, the wise, the good, fair forms, and hoary seers of ages past, all in one mighty sepulchre. The hills rock-ribbed and ancient as the sun, the vales stretching in pensive quietness between the venerable woods, rivers that move in majesty and the complaining brooks that make the meadows green, and poured round all the ocean's grey and melancholy waste, are but the solemn decorations that all of the great tomb of man. The golden sun, the planets, all the infinite host of heaven, and shining on the sad abodes of death, though the still lapse of the ages. All that tread the globe are but a handful to the tribes that slumber in its bosom. Take the wings of morning, pierce the barken wilderness, or lose thyself in the continuous woods where rolls the Oregon, and hears no sound save his own dashings. Yet the dead are there, and millions in those solitudes, since first the flight of years began, have laid them down in their last sleep. The dead reign there alone. So shalt thou rest, and what if thou withdraw in the silence from the living, and no friend take of thy departure, and that breathe will share thy destiny. The day will laugh when thou art gone, the solemn brood of care plod on, and each one as before shall chase his favorite phenomenon, yet all these shall leave their mirth and their employments, and shall come to make their bed with thee. As the long train of ages glide away, the sons of men, the youth in life's green spring, and he who goes in the full strength of years, matron and maid, and the sweet babe and the gray-haired man shall one by one be gathered to thy side by those who in their turn shall follow them. So live, that when thy summons come to join thee innumerable cavern that moves, to that mysterious realm where each shall take his chamber in the silent halls of death, thou go not like the quarry slave at night, scourged to his dungeon, but sustained and soothed by an unfaltering trust. Approach thy grave like one who wraps the drapery of his couch about him and lies down to pleasant dreams. This poem is very much about the movement to understanding that we all move and progress towards death. That is our only fate in life. Everything else is your choice, and you should move towards that with the premise of being who you need to be and who you want to be. As I was reading this, I kept thinking back to a teacher I had in college. A professor, if you will, because that's what they like to be called. They're still just teachers. Sometimes they're teachers of teachers. And I remember writing something about the legacy with which one leaves behind. And as I was writing it, she looked at me and said, "Who are you to write about that? Have you experienced it? Do you know what it's like?" And I looked at her and said, "Are you asking me if I know what it's like to die and lose my own? A man dies but two deaths. The first when he lays down to rest, and the second when all memory of him is fallen into the aether. Are you asking me if I know that? Because, Fred, what do you think?" Yeah, I don't think we can know that. I don't think anyone can. But that doesn't mean that you can't write poetry or have an understanding of that feeling. And I'm not going to go too far into it. I'm already at 12 minutes. I know you hate it when I go above 15. So let me continue with two more. The first is called We That Wear the Mask. We wear the mask that grins and lies. Oh, it's by Paul Laurence Dunbar. We wear the mask. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them see us while we wear the mask. We smile, oh great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. Now, the last poem is by a poet called Allen Ginsberg. Each one of these has had something to do with one of the themes. This one is of the dreaming of America. And I want to leave you with this one today. Because, as I said in my final addresses to everyone, as I said last week, you are the future of America. All of you. Even if you're listening to this and you're 45 years old, you can make your own way. I feel like that was pointed, but it wasn't. My point is that you can make your own way and create a better society for the people that are coming. That's all you gotta do. That's your job. Your job as a human being is to plant a tree that you may never sit under. That's it. A Supermarket in California by Allen Ginsberg. What thoughts I have of you tonight, Walt Whitman, for I walked down the side streets under the trees with a headache, self-conscious looking at the full moon. In my hungry fatigue and shopping for images, I went into the neon fruit supermarket dreaming of your enumerations. What peaches and what penumbras. Whole families shopping at night, aisles full of husbands, wives in the avocados, babies in the tomatoes, and you, Garcia Lorca, what were you doing by the watermelons? I saw you, Walt Whitman, childless, lonely old grubber, poking among the meats in the refrigerator and eyeing the grocery boys. I heard you asking questions of each. Who killed the pork chops? What price bananas? Are you my angel? I wandered in and out of the brilliant stacks of cans, following you, and followed in my imagination by the store detective. We strode down the open corridors together in our solitary fancy, tasting artichokes, possessing every frozen delicacy, and never passing the cashier. Where are we going, Walt Whitman? The doors close in an hour. Which way does your beard point tonight? I touch your book and dream of our odyssey into the supermarket and feel absurd. Will we walk all night towards the solitary streets? The trees add shade to shade, lights out in the houses will both be lonely. Will we stroll, dreaming of the lost America of love past, blue automobiles and driveways, home to our silent cottage? And dear father, graybeard, lonely old cottage courage teacher, what America did you have when Charon quit poling his ferry, and you got out on a smoking bank and stood, watching the boat disappear on the black waters of Lethe? A lot of Greek mythology in this today. And that's it. That is your first edition of Poetry Summer School. If I can find a way to make sure that you have something for the future, I will do so. I also do a thing where I make up poems on the spot. I've been doing that since I was, 22. If you're watching this and you have not ever told me to write a poem or do a poem on the spot about something, give me a topic. I'll do one specifically for you who are asking. Might be cool. 17 minutes, 45 seconds. It's going to look more like 17 minutes, 50. Maybe longer because now I'm talking about how many seconds there are. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you next week. Hope to see you.